Hi, I am Lexi Hatcher. I graduated Fulshear in February of 2021. And my advice to anyone who wants to seek treatment or is looking at Fulshear is to not only just take that leap of faith. Everyone's going to tell you that, like, oh, you're going to come out so much better in the end. But my advice is a little bit more, I don't want to say less positive, but it's more, I think, upfront about what you're going to go through. You have to just surrender everything you've been fighting against and stop doing things the way that you have been doing them, because it's obviously not working. It wasn't working for me, wasn't working for a lot of people, and that's why we end up in treatment, because we can't, the things we're doing in our life isn't right. And I would say to just let yourself go completely. Let your emotional wall down, which it's easier said than done. I had to be broken to my core in order to build myself from the ground up. And sometimes that's the scariest thing in the world to do. But at the same time, you got to look at your past self and go, okay, well, that version of me wasn't working. So whatever I'm doing now isn't working. That's why I'm here. So why not just let it start from the ground up? And it's terrifying to think about that, but you're going to go through a process of finding what your true meaning is in life and what your core values are and what your core meaning is and why you operate the way you did. And you're regardless going to come out a different person if you let it happen. If you fight the program the whole time and say you don't want to be there and you throw tantrums, it's obviously not going to work. I'm saying that because that's what I did for my first 2 months there until an extremely tragic event happened. And it took that in order for me to be like, oh, it's time. And I think once you get to that point of acceptance that it's no longer the way you want, it's the way that it has to be, and you'll eventually grow into a new person. And you may think, oh, well, the way that it has to be isn't what I want, but the way that it has to be will turn out the way you want it to be, which is really confusing if you think about it. But at the end of the day, you're there surrounded by some of the best professionals there are to help you and to refigure out, who you are as a person. And you may think that you're going to lose your sense of self if you go, oh, well, if I surrender everything, if I let it break me, that's not who I am, da da da. It's not saying that. It's saying let those parts of treatment break you and then rebuild it. It's like patching a leaky pipe. You can only patch a pipe so long before it absolutely bursts, and then you have to replace the entire pipe. Once that pipe is replaced, you're like, oh, this is a brand new pipe. Like, this is going to hold up. Like, this is no longer frail, broken, fragile. It's not leaking through the Flex Seal, like none of it. And that's the same thing that's going to happen to you. Stop trying to patch the pipe. Just let it explode and then rebuild it. It's easy. It's easier said than done. But I think you'll look back at, your time in treatment. And the reality is some people are going to go there and they're going to fight it the whole time and they're not going to make the progress they need to make. It may not be their time. They may not be ready to get better, but if you're there, you might as well make the most of what you have. Even if you don't want to be there, just try it, because they're going to tell you to try it, and they're not going to stop telling you to try it until you do. And it's kind of hard to escape a place that's, 40 miles outside of Houston with no cell service. You have no phone. You can't send Morse code for somebody to come pick you up. You might as well just try it once. And if that version doesn't work, try it a different way, but try it till you find something that works because it'll definitely change you for the better.